Disclaimer, because the video portions of the following were recorded the night of the show, I've added audio-only clips regarding the aftermath throughout the review so that the viewpoints are not outdated. Hey everybody, SonGoshuaku here, and welcome to our WWE SummerSlam 2020 review. But first, make sure to hit that subscribe button followed by hitting the notification bell so that way you are notified as soon as my content is released. Being joined by SMP.
What up?
And with a smiley trolley face, I get he's happy tonight with tonight's show, and I can't blame him either. The man, 0001.
Hi, everyone, and hello, friends.
Well, let's waste no time here and talk about what I felt was overall a very good, probably one of the best booked WWE shows in a while, from top to bottom. I didn't see the kickoff show, but I heard that MVP and, Apollo Crews won. So glad his reign continues. Why MVP is on the pre-show, I have no idea. He's been doing some of his most awesome work in WWE. He's had a whole resurgence, so I'm enjoying everything with the Hurt business and everything, if that's what, they're called the Hurt business. So, any thoughts about the pre-show before we move on to the main card, man? 0001.
Oh, yes. I saw this match, and it was pretty decent. It was kind of slow. It was kind of plodding along, but it was a serviceable pre-show match for sure, because in this match, they made one critical mistake in this match, which was I could see them talking to each other. I'm just like, I see y'all talking to each other. Come on now. This is like, come on. This is like a you talk too much portion of Botchamania. That's right there is what I saw. So, but it was a serviceable match, and I can definitely see what was going on here. It was MVP trying to do his best work to try to put over the younger talent. But honestly, I think MVP should have gone over here. And then they could have had Apollo Crews chase MVP for the United States Championship. Because I think MVP is a great champion, a great mid-card champion to check, for any kind of babyface on the come up to try to chase around. And, him not winning doesn't get much life out of anybody here. So it's just like, you just snatched victory. It's just like you snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. Come on. But anyways, I digress. I'm not going to spend too much time on a pre-show.
Gotcha. All right, SMP, anything you want to add on before we move on to the main card? Did you watch this pre-show match?
Yeah, I watched some of it. I would say that I like the match. It was pretty solid. So, yeah, the Hurt Business got to have some wins, though, man. You got to build them up, And you can't just build them up after they lose, because it's kind of like it's kind of like the bully that gets punched in the face, but he's still talking shit. And yeah, I feel like they should gain some W's. Now, should Apollo have lost the championship? Not entirely. I feel like that, there are a lot of like heels carrying the belts as of lately. And I feel like that you do need a face to like have the championship at least a bit, to like balance the scales out. So I kind of like that he has a championship. I kind of like that they're giving Apollo Crews as well as the other wrestling talent a little bit of screen time with MVP and with the Hurt Business. But I want to see them like to see them like evolve and level up, especially when you have Bobby Lashley in, and MVP is supposed to put Lashley in a better place than his past like managers. So I hope that they like do something a little bit more better with them. Shelton Benjamin haven't won a match since like till he joined them, which is a crime in itself, but still,
He's getting that 24/7 title at least. But yeah, I agree. I hope that they're gonna put Bobby Lashley. This all leads to putting Bobby Lashley into a main event status. Maybe we can get that match with Brock finally. Let's move on to the main card. SmackDown Women's Championship, Asuka versus Bayley. I've been a fan. Asuka, Bayley, Sasha, they've really done a tremendous job carrying the WWE, I would say, through this whole pandemic era. All the women, honestly, have been doing a fantastic job in WWE. No exception here. Both women, obviously, you put them in the ring, you're going to get some really good stuff. However, in the end, Bayley gets the win, just as I predicted. it to retain the championship, because I think she should. She should continue her title reign. She's almost at a year. Let's keep this momentum going. Had WWE not even taken the title off of her when they did, just to put it back on her 2 days later, she would already be close to a 2-year reign at this point. But such is what they did. Overall, though, I'm very well pleased. I'm glad it won. I'll talk more about as how it turns into the result later on with Sasha. Man, 0001, let's go, because I know you were very ecstatic to see Bayley get that title retained. That's probably why you've been smiling as much. So, what did you guys say about this match and the results?
Oh, I was happy with this match right here, because it was kind of full circle. In a way, it was kind of full circle because originally Asuka ended Bayley's NXT Women's Championship reign. On the way, because at that time Asuka was the Asuka train, and people had to move out the way and get off the tracks. So that's just what it was. So at that time, So then you fast forward about a few years later, and now Bayley is ascended, and she is on an upper trajectory in terms of her stardom. Get this, because this heel run could lead to a good babyface run in the future. But, for the time being, this right here was full circle. It was Bayley finally getting that W over Asuka. And, and this right here is also sowing seeds of dissension between Bayley and Sasha. I'm not going to spoil it right now, but what would happen later on in the night, we will speak about that in a little bit. But, yeah, definitely. I definitely enjoyed this match. As a standalone match, it was okay. It was pretty good. But the storytelling in this match was top notch. You had Sasha and Bayley out there, and Sasha Banks put her body on the line, basically taking the blow, Piccolo over Gohan style. In order to do it, in order for her friend to elevate, herself. It was just like, man, it was like. It was just like, man, that right there is a friend right there for sure. I would definitely, that's definitely a good friend right there. But
nice.
I love this match.
SMP, anything you want to say before we move on to the next match?
Yeah, I think that this match was pretty good. I kind of like Bayley as a heel right now. I feel like that this is like the most fun she had, which is good because most wrestlers, they like to be heels because it's like the most fun they have, and it being like the bad guy and stuff. So I feel like that this will come out on her own and stuff. I kind of agree that she should have the title still a little bit, because then it'll build up to like what's going to happen in the future. But yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it. I thought that she should retain it. And I thought that, the camaraderie between like Bayley and Sasha showed in like this match. It will also like have you thinking about like the next match that's about to happen. But yeah, it was pretty good for the most part. So, yeah, I give a thumbs up on that.
Nice. Let's move on to the next match. And I will just add on and say it's awesome. When you think back to where Sasha and Bayley were a couple of years ago, and we were just wondering, probably on this channel, we were wondering, what are they doing with these women? You're just wasting them. And now look at them. They've been carrying the division. So really awesome to see is the old macho man would see the cream rises to the top. Ooh, yeah. But moving on, the Raw Tag Team Championship match, Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza. I thought the story was pretty cool here with Zelina poisoning Montez Ford. Honestly, though, I thought the biggest part of the story was Bianca Belair and Zelina going at it. Bianca is definitely, I see, as a star. I mean, she just got that swagger, that attitude about her that, things are going down whenever she gets in the ring. But as far as this match goes, I know we talked about off screen, SMP thought it was the weakest match of the show, and I said probably so, but I thought this was such a great event that it was an okay match, and I agree, it could have been something that could have been on Raw and something like that. But I tell you what, on a show where you have at least an okay match to good and great matches, I'm totally fine with that. Not a bad match on the show, so I was fine with it. It had a spectacular finish. Montez Ford, where he does the frog splash and turn his body completely in the air and drops on the ground. I was like, oh, when I thought I already thought he had an impressive standard frog splash as it is with how high he could get up, and now the twist and turning that he's doing, just awesome. Eddie Guerrero would be super proud to see how he's been able to evolve the move and everything. So rest in peace to the great Eddie Guerrero, and Montez for an awesome athletic specimen. I've been enjoying the Street Profits being a little bit more serious lately, so I'm okay. I have nothing wrong. We'll see where things go from here. SMP, let's kick it over to you, because I know you said this was the weakest match on the show, you thought.
Saying that because it was a bad match. I had C's in school. I still got my degree, so yeah. But I felt like that was weak because nothing was completely impressive. Yeah, Montez Ford did his move and stuff, which Montez Ford is a good competitor, and maybe when the Street Profits, if they do split up and do his own thing, their own thing, I feel like that he's gonna shine as a star if they let him. But back to the match. The match was pretty basic to me though. It was nothing that I haven't seen before. I feel like that if I feel like that the match I could see in Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live that I could see, then I feel like that it's not worth looking at an exclusive event or pay-per-view, if you want to call it that, because you can see it now on WWE.com or you can see it on pay-per-view. So I thought it was okay, but if you see the other stuff, and once you hear the stories of the other matches in this event, you will see why I said this was the weakest match of them. But this build-up was good. Bianca Belair and Zelina face each other. They were very good building up the story. Especially they did a little side thing where Bianca Belair even showed up to her crib on Twitch and beat her down. So it was pretty good. So the build-up was pretty good. I wish that they did more of a build-up with the Viking Raiders, instead of them doing a bunch of goofy game show challenges and stuff. I wish they would have done that with the War Raiders, but them doing that with the other two guys was pretty good. So yeah.
Cool. And then Man0001, anything you want to add on about this match before we move on to the next one?
This match right here seemed like it was a match that should have had. First off, this match right here was pretty decent. Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, and Angelo Dawkins they're doing a great thing right now. And, it's going to be a shame when this tag team splits up someday, because it is WWE and it will happen. Unless you're the New Day. If you're the New Day, you get to stay together forever. BFFs is BFF is a lifestyle amongst the New Day. So that's not just a saying, that's a lifestyle amongst them fellas. But it's going to be a shame. But Montez Ford, definitely, he got hired in Rob Van Dam and Sabu back in 2006.
That's high.
Wow.
I'm talking about dare to keep a kid off drugs high. That high.
That's they got hired in Cheech and Chong sharing a bong with Method Man and Redman on a private jet high. That's how high they got.
They got higher than Marlon Wayans in that Wayans Brothers PSA episode. If y'all saw that.
Yeah, but yeah, that's how high he got. But that was a big highlight of the match. This match right here it pretty much serves as one of those matches where you see, it's pretty much just, something that's further along the storyline. So I look at this match and I see, first off, the seeds of distinction between, Garza, between Garza and Andrade. Seeing those two, they're going to come apart pretty soon. Seeing that happen I also see Zelina Vega siding with Angel Garza to keep her heel heat. I also see, you want to make bets with me right now. I can see it happening. Charlotte Flair and Andrade versus Zelina Vega and Angel Garza, mixed tag match, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, or WrestleMania. It's going to happen.
All right, so moving on to the next match. Sonya Deville versus Mandy Rhodes in a no DQ loser leaves WWE match. Now, I'm not going to critique this like we normally would for any other match. Unfortunately, due to real life circumstances, I'm pretty sure you all are aware of what went down with a sick psycho working in a Sonya Deville's house and putting both of them very much in danger, having some very evil intentions. These women have no doubt had a traumatizing week. And so therefore I definitely say they have earned every single bit of respect that they get towards their way, because for them to go through such a traumatizing experience in real life and still have the professionalism to show up and want to perform when by all rights they absolutely had every right not to, with the emotional state that they are in right now, both mentally and emotionally, they did that. Both these women earned their respect. They showed their true passion. That being said, I don't think their head is all the way in there in this match. They did the match, and therefore, so, if the match didn't live up to what you may have thought it was, you got to give it the benefit of the doubt, because like I said, the type of mindset both of them are in right now with what they're going through, I can't expect them to be able to compete at full throttle. So I look at the SummerSlam match as a sign of their dedication to the business. That being said, getting beyond real life circumstances and just focusing on the characters and the story, I'm glad to see that Mandy won this match, because basically I think the story, Sonya Deville has given her one-sided beatdowns all through the past several months, so it only made sense for there to be a feel-good moment at the end with her finally, Mandy Rhodes coming out and being the underdog in the story, beating Sonya Deville, and celebrating the end with Otis, her boyfriend, which is where all this started at and everything. And coming out of this, man, I think Sonya Deville all year has really shined, getting to show what she can do on the microphone. And Mandy Rhodes, I felt, has come on. I thought she got a really great promo, one of the best promos I've ever heard her cut recently on SmackDown and everything. And I'm actually glad that they got rid of the whole hair versus hair stipulation, because if you think about the storyline stipulation, Sonya wanted to basically make Mandy Rhodes ugly by just maiming her, beating her up. So of course you make it a no DQ match where she can, hopefully beat her to a pulp from her perspective, and then Mandy's the underdog who's just defending herself. So I felt this stipulation made more. I like to see when things are better for the real life Daria, when things are a lot better for her in her life and she's able to, get better hold of things emotionally and everything after this traumatizing experience. I definitely like to see her come back as Sonya Deville and her and Mandy go at it, when things are a lot better in their life. And once again, I just want to say I am very glad that situation did not end as horrible as it could have done. Yes, I know had the guy gone head to head, she would have destroyed him. But in a one-on-one, but this situation, man, it's just freaking creepy. And I'm just glad that they left unharmed and everything. And I hope the sick SOB gets exactly what he deserves in the prison for what he did. No justification for what he did, but much respect to Sonya and Mandy for going out there when they absolutely didn't have to. So much respect to both these women, and I feel 2020 was definitely a year where they got to shine, and that's all I got to say about everything. Man, 0001, anything you want to add on?
Oh, definitely. It's big ups to those two right there. Definitely going out there and putting on the best performance they can given the circumstances. I mean, I hope that thick son of a bitch goes to jail, and I hope he gets what's his on the inside. And I hope they put him in a nice jail like 26 California and Chicago, or they put him in Rikers Island, New York, or they put him somewhere in Supermax in Colorado. I hope he goes to one of those jails and makes himself a nice home there. Because that's where he's going to be spending a lot of time. His address is definitely at a prison for sure. But as for this match right here, for certain, it was what it was given the circumstances, and I hope we get them in much better programs from this point forward. Because definitely. If it was up to me, I wouldn't put them out there given the mental states. As they say, the show must go on, and the match was what it was, and these two did what they could. I definitely hope they get much better programs in the future. I think Sonya Deville's probably Raw in the future, and Mandy Rose SmackDown. I definitely hope they can improve their skills in ring because if you look at Trish Stratus' career, anything is possible. You go from being a ballet, who's just nothing but a cover model, a fitness cover model, to being one of the best of all time to ever do it. So definitely hope both of them can learn from this program because they do have a lot of potential, like in terms of characters. Like they went from bland, tough enough contestants to, essentially Paige's sidekicks to two women who were just on SmackDown roster just to be there, to a couple of bodies just to fill the women's tag team division, to now they are just now they're just doing some amazing work. So I definitely hope they hope we get to see them back proper for sure, because on a personal level I know what it's like to have your home broken into. I've seen that, how that could affect. Luckily my father was there. He knew exactly what to do to take care of the situation. But that's all I'm going to say about that. But definitely, I hope both of them get back into things, and I hope they are able to heal mentally.
Well said. Well said. SMP. Before we move on to the next match, anything you want to add on about this?
First I like to say that Sonya and Daria, I hope Sonya, aka Daria, I hope that she does well and tremendous. And even though I'm saying her real name, I hope she don't take that personal. But honestly, I hope that she gets her mind straight and stuff. And I hope she knows that not every wrestling fan in the wrestling community is like that. And I don't like it when certain wrestling fans do this stuff to the males and especially the females, especially because we've seen this in every branch of entertainment where people minds are screwed up. They take it a little bit too far and then they take it to their own hands to go and personally harm people. We've seen this in with stuff in sports with football players. We've seen this with musical icons like John Lennon. We see this a lot, and it's not okay. So, but not a lot of us are like that. So first I'd like to say, for people who take this wrestling thing too seriously and too harshly, don't do that. Don't attack these people online. If it's not fun or within the storyline, don't make personal attacks online. Don't try to attack these people when you see them in person. Don't try to stalk them at home. It's not right. We lost a fellow wrestler in the wrestling community due to personal harsh attacks. We don't want this stuff to constantly happen. This could have been worse, even if she's an MMA professional. You can only do so much if someone has a weapon in their hand and you don't know what's going on. So you don't want to take it too far and then you get sued. So it's only so much you could actually do. Aside from that, let's get into the match. The match was okay. With the story it was based with the mind frame. Of course, she couldn't be as ruthless as she wanted to be. Mandy, I think that they just wanted to get it done and get her the help that she needs. So as for the match, it was an okay. Fairly, it could have been better, but given the circumstance, we got to take what we got. There's a lot of other matches in the cards that we could wash our palates and look at as being better. So on a personal note, I hope that she gets well, hope she gets better, and I hope she finds the trust and value in the fans. Hope this doesn't completely cut her off, but I hope she can stay safe and protected at all time, because in real life they are still friends and they do still live together. And I hope that this guy gets what's coming to them, especially during these pandemics things where everything is happening all at once with every section of profession, and they want to do that where everybody's just thinking of something different. So I'm glad it didn't go further. So the guy, I hope he gets what he got's coming to them. And I hope that every single person that's looking at the news and stuff, they think before they act. These people are still people at the end of the day. Even if they're on the camera, nobody signed up to be attacked or brutalized or to be harmed. None of those people on the roster, none of these people that live this life, whether you're indies or you're in the majors, want their safety or their family safety compromised. So just think about that. If you don't like something, you don't have to like it. You can even express your displeasure in it. But don't take it overboard. Don't attack these people. Don't break into these people's houses. Don't talk about these people's mothers or fathers or children. Keep it within the story, keep it within the entertainment, and move on.
Well said, everyone. Well said. Yeah, we're all here wishing Daria a recovery mentally and emotionally, and hope things get better. And yeah, by all means, not all wrestling fans are like that. A lot of us are good people who enjoy and respect the entertainment that these men and women put their bodies on the line for every week in, week out. All right, we're going to move on to the next match, the street fight. Dominik Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. Things coming full circle. The whole I'm the puppy storyline with Eddie Guerrero. I wasn't a fan of that storyline, honestly, but the match was awesome, and Eddie Guerrero was, of course, very entertaining, as always. Yeah, but Dominik Mysterio, speaking of which, they had Angie, Rey Mysterio's wife, in the house, and it just dawned on me, she's made a few appearances in WWE. Every single time they bring her on WWE TV, it's like something depressing is going on with her family, whether it's Eddie Guerrero trying to say he's the poppy, CM Punk trying to be a creep and sing happy birthday, like, oh my gosh, like I feel like we barely get, anytime she's on TV, we barely get to see her just being happy with her family. It's always somebody.
I feel like she gets an extra spa day every time she got to be on TV with these stories.
Yeah,
I feel like that when that check comes, it's like, babe, here's a spa day. Thank you for being on camera. I'm sorry,
But Angie, she did an amazing job selling here. It wasn't over the top, anything. She did a good job selling the concern of her son and everything. So let's get into this match. The build up was pretty good. I know there's a lot of talk about whether they were ribbing poor Dominik, or they guilt tripped him into taking all those shots, or if it was just him paying his dues because he got here with Rey Mysterio. But he certainly got Seth Rollins back in this match and welted his back up and everything. The match was really good. I mean, Dominik, he can perform, and I think we all saw that just the way he was performing from taking those bumps. I was there in person at Survivor Series when he did the father-son 619. This match had really good storytelling. I love the story. I was actually on the edge of my seat for a lot of it, with Seth Rollins just healing it all up and everything, and the way they kept forcing Ray and Angie to watch their son getting beat down, and there was that point where they teased, like, what, we're gonna go after Angie and stuff. And I love that part when he came and just started whooping Seth Rollins, like, yeah, because that's what you would do. Someone come after your mother with a kendo stick, that's exactly what you're gonna do. So I felt this whole storyline, I mean, in terms of the match, the whole storytelling of the match was really well done. Dominik definitely looks like he belongs in there. I can't say enough good things. It was a really good match, and I expected it was going to be good. I'm glad that Seth Rollins did get the win, because let's face it, he defeated Brock Lesnar clean twice. I think, was it twice, or he beat him last year, definitely clean last year at SummerSlam. He's the first main roster superstar full-timer to actually beat Lesnar after Lesnar had beat the streak. So someone like Seth Rollins should be protected in the storyline. He shouldn't be losing easily. I expect that this match after here, it's going to go into a tag match with Murphy and Rollins against the father-son combination of the Mysterio family, and then they'll get their win there, because we all know Ray's been wanting to at least do one match where he teams up with his son. But yeah, good match. Things come full circle. We've really seen Dominik grow from that little boy whose custody was on the line to now he's defending the Mysterio families. Obviously, Ray got him his foot in the door, but he had to bring it when it came to performance, and he definitely showed that he can perform in that ring. Man, 0001, what's it like? We were like, what, middle school when Dominik was just a little boy in the storyline, and now here he's a man competing in the storyline. What you think?
Well, I think it's this, all this coming full circle. It's him being at SummerSlam 2005 and having his custody fought for between Eddie and Mysterio. And now we're here in 2020. The pantheon of bad years for a lot of people. Basically, Dominik goes out there and he puts on a pretty decent match, given his experience level. Watching him is just like watching somebody go out there, a lot of stuff for the first time. Like, I'm pretty sure he was at the PT behind the scenes training and everything. I'm pretty sure he was getting in practice for that, for sure. But it's just like everything he did looked like it was, a creative star by 60 overall, but like a 59 or a 60 overall, kind of like playing Here Comes the Pain, and you can't hop on the top rope right away. You got to climb up slowly and get settled in, and then you can do your diving attack. You don't have to, he doesn't have the speed, the sharpness yet in order to be able to do this. His athleticism is not developed enough in order to be able to do these. I don't think he should be doing all the flippy stuff else. He should definitely, because that's more of his dad's thing. Like, well, his dad's older than him. Dad's been doing that shit since he was like 15. Dominik is, 22, 23 years old. And he's just starting to do things, and he's just starting to get his mode of everything. And Dominik should not be out there trying to get Dominik should go out and definitely be trying to develop his style. I don't think he should try to become a more technical wrestler. I think he should become more mat-based, because if he, he becomes more mat-based and more technical, that right there is something actually doable. Something that he can actually improve on time, because just because he's Rey Mysterio's son, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to move around like Mysterio.
Plus, he's like tall and he weighs a little bit heavier than him, so it's like.
Dominik was like, what is he, like 6'2"? 6'2", 220, 232 pounds. This guy's, he's good. He's got size on him. Give him some time to get shaped up. You give him some time to give him some time to get shaped up. You give him some time to work on his skills. I definitely think he should work on becoming a more technical, more mat-based wrestler, because the high-flying stuff for him is just not there. But if he does become more of a technician and he does become more of a mat-based wrestler, I believe he could actually make hair for himself in that style, unless he goes from where we're at right now and he improves. Definitely showed a lot of promise and potential, and I could possibly see some big things coming out of his career. I mean, given his family name and stuff, but also on talent level. Are we seeing essentially, a Randy Orton rock type? Or are we seeing the next Lacey Von Erich? Are we seeing the next, what are we seeing here? So basically, he has a lot of good things. As for his match, Seth Rollins for sure. As for his match with Seth Rollins, it was pretty good storytelling. It was the crescendo to everything we see going on so far. And Seth Rollins now on top. I mean, you had to know it's on top. You're not gonna come out of nowhere. You're not gonna come out of nowhere and be some fucking kid. I mean, I know he's 20-something years old, but it's like, in the eyes of the world, you're still a fucking kid, unless you do some elite deal. But outside of that, you're still a fucking kid and you're still learning. And, Seth Rollins is not even the top kid, out there. So he had to do that, because him doing the job at WrestleMania definitely means that he is gonna be picking him, and so he can be able to keep his hair tag for sure. So, but yeah, the match was serviceable. It was good showing. Good outing for him. I think Dominik definitely has some things on for sure. Also, if Dominik pops up in your DMs, that's DMing your DMs probably.
All right, SMP, before we move on to the next match, anything you want to add on about this one?
I thought it was all right. It was good storytelling, And, of course, he got, great potential because he is a Mysterio, and his godfather was Eddie Guerrero, so he got, some influence on him. I feel like that he's going to shine much more when he gets, more developed and he's, comfortable with, his character and stuff like that. Right now, it was like just a superstar's son in the ring, fighting someone else. But we've seen that from Randy Orton, and we've seen that from Cody Rhodes, and we see how they turned out. So I say, give it a chance and stuff. I'm waiting for 20 years later when Seth Rollins' kid is in the ring, and he's showing Seth Rollins' kid the ropes. So let's see that happen.
Full circle. And man, Rey Mysterio will be a senior citizen by then. Wow.
Full circle. Well, how old is Seth? Like what, 34?
Yeah, you said 20 years. Yeah, I mean, Seth might be towards the end of his career by then.
Yeah.
Hey, good thoughts, everyone. Good thoughts tonight. Yeah, I definitely think Dominik has definitely still got a ways to go, especially on the microphone and everything. And like you said, finding his character.
One thing I would say that he needs to correct. I like his gear. He got to get rid of the hood. If he's going to wrestle in that, I don't like people wrestling in hoodies, with their hood spots, because that gets in the way. You can't fight in a hood.
It made a good effect when Seth gave him that devastating power bomb and the hood just flew right up. I thought it added to the impact. That was pretty cool.
His gear is decent. It looks okay. It looks like some level definitely some level 3 creator wrestling. So I can get on WWE 2K games. Levels to these guys. Level 3 creator wrestling.
Wait, we're going to move on to the next match, but I'll say this. I appreciate that he's at least looking different than his father, because the last thing we don't need him to come off like he's basically just 2.0 of his father. He definitely should stand out. Moving on, the Raw Women's Championship match. Asuka versus Sasha Banks. So they had a really good match on Monday Night Raw, and I thought their match at the last pay-per-view, Extreme Rules, the horror show, was good, but of course it had the crap finish, and then even the finish was messed up with how they did Kairi Sane and everything. This one had a much more clean finish. This was more so Sasha taking advantage of a weakened Asuka, so it told the story that it needed to tell, but in the end, I really did like how I like the strategy, actually. Asuka kept trying to employ a lot of submission moves, because the story was she can't really run around like she wants to because she's got a bad leg, so she keeps Sasha isolated by putting submissions on her so she doesn't have to take any damage, and it just only hurts Sasha Banks. So I really like the psychology and the storytelling from that standpoint. And in the end, Asuka ended up making Sasha Banks tap out and gets the championship. So according to WWE booking, apparently first title defenses for Sasha Banks are just things that just don't happen. But I'm okay here, and I'm okay. And here's
what's that? Title defenses. Did you say title defenses? Sasha Banks in the name?
They, according to WWE booking, they don't mix. But here's why I'm okay. And I never thought I would say that I'm okay with Sasha not having it there, because like everyone, I've been waiting for Sasha, which seems like 5 years now, to finally have a dominant, lengthy reign as champion. But here's why I'm okay with it, because it just felt like this whole thing was a mess the way they were booking everything. So I think whenever they finally blow off the storyline where babyface Sasha defeats heel Bayley, and that's the championship, there will be so much more emotional investment with that title win, and I think that is the title win where you can have Sasha go on to finally have a lengthy reign and maybe even transition later on as a heel, because we all know that as a heel, Sasha Banks is absolutely amazing if you look back on her NXT days. So yeah, I felt like this played out the way it should have. This will continue the further story, and then we'll see. I guess maybe they'll do Shayna and Asuka against Bayley and Sasha, and I'll see how long they try to drag the storyline out. I'm guessing they're waiting until they can get some fans actually back in the audiences and everything. But with how long this pandemic's going on, it's not ended anytime soon from the looks of it. So who knows? But overall, I thought the way this whole storyline played out with Asuka, Bayley, and Sasha worked out really good. Predictable, yes, but it worked out the way it should. And Asuka is back as Raw Women's Champion, and hopefully they keep that title on her, because she deserves as well a lengthy title reign. SMP, anything you want to add on about this match?
Yes, I would like to say that the match was pretty good. You know, it had a bit of story, and I would say that it also showed how much Sasha supports Bayley and how Bayley would support Sasha. So Bayley played more of a coaching role than actual active role. You know, you see she didn't touch Asuka. She was more like cheering her on and Sasha on and stuff, which was pretty good. We see that, you know, how it would be. She was more focused on protecting her title than she was on helping like Sasha protect her title as well. But I thought it was pretty good. It was very hard hitting. They had like some hard hitting spots on there, which is good. But you know, it's very rare to see like a bad Sasha Banks match. The only time you see a bad Sasha Banks match is because the other person was doing bad. But you have Asuka, and she's great, and you had Sasha Banks, and she's great. So this was a good match, you know. And I'm very excited to see a Shayna Baszler versus Asuka match because these both was heavy hitters, and Shayna almost was undefeated. But do you have anything to say about it, the man?
Come on now. Why did it have to happen?
I know, man.
Come on now. I mean, it's just like, now I got to sing the song by Boyz II Men. And here we go to the end of the road, and I can't let go. It's unnatural. You belong to me. I belong to you.
Oh, you gotta do the deep voice, like, girl. I knew that it'd been a long time. I know that we all want our girl to be number one. But we all know who runs this boat. It's not you. It's not me. It's not Hunter Hope Selfsley. It's a guy named Vinnie Mac.
Yeah,
Vinnie McMahon.
Yeah.
And we know his. Well,
come on now.
Yeah.
Why you have to desert me like that Raw Women's title? You know, you should have stayed on Sasha, and everything would have been fine.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, what I have to say about this is, definitely, I enjoyed the match. As is tradition, they're going to put on a great match. It's like, it's one of those things that happens. Okay, it's just like when you turn on the stove, you're gonna see fire. When you run the water faucet, given if you paid your bill, of course, the water's gonna come out. When you go, when you go to, when you pay your taxes, you're gonna be straight for the next 365 days. Unless some bullshit pops up, then you fucked.
Usually does. Yeah.
But our president and the person that's running against him is gonna say some dumb shit. I mean, it's one of those things that just happens. You know what it is.
You know what's gonna happen. We all know that.
It's gonna be great. I mean, you can't say I mean, you have a better chance of drowning the fish than finding out when Sasha Banks and Asuka is gonna have a bad match. I mean, come on now.
For real.
But I thoroughly enjoyed the match. Definitely, this is part 2 of So Into the Distinction. The seeds of dissension between Sasha and Bayley. Definitely, we're going to get that multiple years payoff in a couple months. Hopefully.
As of this past Monday Night Raw, Sasha Banks and Asuka had another good match for the Raw Women's Championship with Asuka retaining. And on that same show, we found out that Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler will be facing both Sasha and Bayley for the Tag Team Women's Championships at Payback. Now, I believe that they most likely will end up winning that match, that being Shayna and Nia Jax, that is. But I did really enjoy the segment on SmackDown where Bayley was basically trying to cheer Sasha up while at the same time putting her down because Sasha has never successfully defended a women's world title in the WWE's main roster. And I really love the subtlety of Sasha as Bayley's looking off to the Titantron speaking to Nia and Shayna, where she looks towards Bayley and she says, "I will have my vengeance," and then looks back up to the screen, just really loving the subtleties between the eventual breakup that we've been waiting for almost like 2 or 3 years now.
Let's continue on here with the co-main event, the WWE Championship match, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. All right, so what I really love about this match is that Randy Orton all year has been built up as a strong heel. Drew McIntyre has been built up as a strong babyface. So when you have two competitors who have been built up very strong and you put them into a match, I am much more emotionally invested, and I'm pretty sure if we had a live audience, they would be too. This is awesome. Like, think about last year. Becky Lynch, as a babyface, had been built up strong. Natalya, not so much at all, right? They just threw her right in there. Had they built up Natalya for several months, then there would have been like a bigger emotional investment because we knew both ladies are going to tear it down, but all I asked is just for some better build-up. So I love it. Randy Orton's been doing fantastic work all year, just kicking people's heads off. I'm reminded of, so much of why I love Randy Orton as a character, as a performer. The guy doesn't have to do much to get over. He does all the small things, and it gets over. He just, his psychology, the way he works in the ring, and that's what we got with this match. Now, the storyline with Ric Flair, I'm going to be honest, in the storyline, does Christian mind that this was done to Ric Flair in the storyline? Because Ric Flair has made a career out of giving people low blows, and you should know by now not to trust Randy Orton. But I thought everything considered, everything with Randy Orton just kicking everybody's heads off has been pretty good. I enjoyed, except for Shawn Michaels, who decided to no sell. Maybe he pulled a little 2005 Hogan there because of maybe what Randy Orton says. Who knows? I thought it was funny that he still was no selling. Shawn Michaels was still no selling in terms of the video cameo. They didn't even try to pretend like he's in a hospital, or as they like to say, local medical facility. But let's get back to the match. The match overall, I thought was really good. Hard hitting. Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre just went at it constantly. Like I said, Randy Orton always just doing that methodical pace, but he's a great master at it. Just working on like all the tiny details. Work on the arms here. Work on the legs. I really love when he went down on his stomach to do the counter, but what he did, he flipped over to his back and just tripped Drew McIntyre. Little tiny details like that I really love. I enjoyed when Randy Orton went for the punt kick and Drew McIntyre turned it into a devastating power bomb. Now, if you guys are Dragon Ball fans out there, there was a second battle in, I believe, the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, aka World Martial Arts Tournament. Son Goku, he fought Teen Shinha. Now, his signature move, obviously, is the Kamehameha, but in that match, it was a good fight, but he didn't end up using that. And that's kind of what it reminded me of here. This is a really good match, and both guys never used their finisher. And I think that's true sign right there, of the professionals that these guys are in the ring. They were able to make a really good match, tell a really good story, and they didn't even have to rely on their finishing moves. They kept trying to attempt it because it's a finishing move, rather than kicking out of it several times. It was like, make sure you don't land this and everything. And it was like, kind of became like a game of cat and mouse, sort of say. This match between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton was hard hitting, and I really enjoyed it. But the ending I didn't expect. A roll, it was like a backslide, 1, 2, 3, and he beat Randy Orton that way. So I'm guessing they'll have another match with more decisive finishers. But yeah, I thought it was a really good match. Told a great story, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go next year. Glad Drew McIntyre is still champion, who I think has been doing the best job that he can during this whole pandemic area. Hopefully, pandemic period. So hopefully we get to see Drew McIntyre with audiences and celebrating the championship with the fans in attendance sometime soon. All right, Man0001, anything you want to add about the WWE Championship match?
I think it was a good match. I think Randy Orton showed that he cared in this match. Randy Orton cares that he matches them good. That's number one. Number two, both of them trying to go for their finish, but right here felt like what it was probably supposed to be. And that right there is a start of the feud type match. Pretty decent match. I like the history package that they showed and the career parallels and whatnot.
Yeah, that was good.
So McIntyre's redemption story, definitely a pretty decent match.
All right, SMP, anything you got to say before we move on to the main event?
Yeah, it was a pretty good match. It was a solid match. I know I said solid a lot, but yeah, it is a pretty good match. I also like the believability of like the face and the heel. You saw that Drew McIntyre was a strong face and Randy Orton was a strong heel, and they clashed together, and it was pretty good. So that was a good rivalry, and I'm looking forward to the next one. And I'm also looking forward to the build-up to when Edge gets right back and get to finish that chapter as well. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll see where it all goes. I hope they don't make it for the championship. Like I said, I hope Drew McIntyre can at least hang on there as champion until audiences finally start coming back in attendance. Now, I've already given my thoughts on Keith Lee's debut for Monday Night Raw in my NXT TakeOver number 30 review. So I'm just going to say this right here. The co-main event is going to be Keith Lee versus Randy Orton at Payback this Sunday. Now, this is a huge deal for Keith Lee to be in there with Randy Orton. That being said, I really hope the WWE books Keith Lee to go over, because defeating a Randy Orton is the type of thing that can catapult Keith Lee to the next level on the main roster, even if it's via shenanigans of Drew McIntyre interfering to get revenge for all the multiple punt kicks that he took on Monday Night Raw at the hands, or I should say feet or foot, of Randy Orton. As that way you're keeping Randy Orton strong to progress the feud between him and Drew, but you keep Keith Lee strong in his debut, making an impact right away. But to have Randy Orton just flat out beat this guy right off the bat, I don't think is going to leave a great taste in the mouth of many fans, especially when they're already have sour taste in their mouths from Keith Lee's ring gear and entrance music. Now, moving on to the main event for the WWE Universal Championship, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman. So this feud's been going on pretty much ever since after WrestleMania. I had to admit, everything they added with Alexa Bliss in there definitely had gave me some intrigue, but you never know with these things with WWE. Sometimes they screw these things up, more often than not. And then sometimes they'll throw you something and you'll be like, oh wow, that was really well done. So I'm not sure exactly how Alexa ends up factoring into all this, but as far as the match goes, Bray Wyatt's entrance looks spectacular in this whole Thunderdome thing that they're doing, in which I think the whole Thunderdome thing has actually made the product look a lot better visually from a standpoint, but of course characters are going to be the most important aspect of it. This I thought was probably the best match we've seen Bray and Braun in so far. Bray and Braun, they were going at it with the steel steps and the tables. Like, it was a fight. That's what it felt like going into the gorilla position. They went into the gorilla position. We didn't see Vince McMahon there, interesting enough, so everybody just dipped out of there. But then it kind of slowed down the pace when Braun Strowman took control, but in the end he used a box cutter to open up the ring and to expose the wood, and from there Braun Strowman ended up he basically wrote his own demise there, because Bray Wyatt ended up using Sister Abigail, crashing on the hard part, that's not protected several times, and put Strowman away. Very glad to see Bray Wyatt back where he deserves, where he should have been, the Universal Championship. Now that we know Goldberg has about 2 more matches, hopefully when he does come back, they let Bray get his win back. But for right now, Braun has been defeated, meaning Bray has defeated the guy that beat the guy who beat him. I know it's always confusing when WWE does it that way, but yeah, I'm glad to see Braun Strowman on top, and then we never saw it coming. This whole Alexa Bliss thing looks like it was just something to make us all guess, but the real truth was this was all set up for the return of, as Michael Cole likes to say, the big dog, Roman Reigns, who came out with a shirt similar to Steve Austin with the whole raise hell and raise hell and leave. He's like, came here, wreck havoc and leave, and he just came out there. I thought this was one of the best that they've ever made Roman Reigns look. He come back, demanding that this is his yard, taking out Braun Strowman, because we all know that if he didn't leave, Strowman probably wouldn't have been champion, and taking out Bray. So looks like we're going to get ourselves a triple threat feud going on here. See what they do when they shake things up with the draft coming up. But yeah, I'm glad to see Roman Reigns is back. Now that he sees WWE is taking the, a lot of the testing more serious, with the COVID stuff. I guess, he feels a lot more comfortable in coming back. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see where things go from here. Probably Roman Reigns is going to get the champion soon, but I'm glad he did something different with Roman Reigns. See, even whether he was face or heel, for me. I really never cared too much about that. It was more so do something different with Roman Reigns, and that's like what we're getting here. We're getting something different with Roman Reigns, and so therefore I'm open to see where things are going to go from here. But in the meantime, very glad to see Bray Wyatt as champion. Hopefully they give him a lengthy title reign, but as we know, WWE probably is not going to do that. So that's pretty much all I've got to say about the match. SMP, what's your thoughts on the main event?
My thoughts was the main event was pretty good. You know, of course, we all love the Fiend entrance. The Fiend entrance was holding strong here. I liked the match. The match was pretty good. I kind of thought that when he had the box cutter that he was going to use it on the mask, but instead he used it on the mat.
I kind of did too, yeah.
Bray looked at the opportunity and used it against him. You know, they didn't make each other look soft, so I think that both of them had like decent stuff going on, and they made it to the point, and they made it good, and then Bray Wyatt like won, and then of course we had Roman Reigns. Now it's still unknown if Roman's gonna still be like the face that Vince fantasized that he could be, or they finally pulled the trigger and made him a heel, because his merchandise, it kind of looked pretty heelish to what he usually wears, because it says wreck everything and leave, and he's the Roman Empire, empire you build up, but now it's like, he wrecks stuff and he leaves. It could be that he was a heel, and plus of what he was saying to like Braun, if y'all heard what he said, he was saying to him, he said, okay, that I made you. You're not a monster unless I'm here. You're not really a monster unless I'm here. So I think that if he does become a heel, he's going to use the fact of that everything wasn't quite as good as it was when he left. And when he's here, everything is will now be popping. So I guess he's going to use like the ratings and everything as the fact of he's the star of the show and he matters. And it doesn't matter if you guys don't think he matters, because he's really matter. I'm sorry, I'm writing the stuff for these guys. And it's probably not even going to be the same thing when it comes on. So, yeah. But to get to the match was good. It had surprises at the end. And it was solid. I'm glad that Bray Wyatt has the title. But I hope that they still build him off, because now you just saw like Roman Reigns just beat him down. So we got to see how like the Fiend is actually gonna like make up to this and redeem himself and make him out to still be the monster that we all want him to be.
Very well said. All right, close us off here. Man, 0001, what's your thoughts on the main event and the surprise ending?
That right there, that main event is a doozy. That's number that comes down. Started, I'm just like, press a box cutter, cut a hole in the mat, and then try to slam one of the wooden parts, supposed to out of the ring, and have the Fiend do a comeback. But you have him come back and win the match. Pretty much be a baby face to most scenario. Roman Reigns essentially come out and bro, he's probably gonna be a tweener or he's gonna be a heel, possibly. I'd like to see where they're going with this. Hopefully they do not fuck this up. Please, WWE, do not fuck up. I mean, it's real easy to not fuck this up. You know what I mean?
WWE will find a way. Vince always find a way.
It's like the WWE takes one of these dumbass challenges, like the fire challenge or whatnot. Let's create a good storyline and let's figure out how to fuck this up challenge. You know what I mean?
On this past Monday Night Raw, it was announced that the main event for Payback would be a triple threat match for the Universal Championship. The Fiend Bray Wyatt defending the title against Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. However, the big story of this match is what happened at the end of SmackDown. Roman Reigns, of course, quoted a very familiar line saying that he's going to win the match, and that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler. Camera pans over, and there is Paul Heyman next to Roman Reigns, and so thus, it looks like they have turned Roman Reigns heel, and wow, what a shocking ending, because you gotta be beyond. Listen, if you grew up with WWE in the 2000s into 2010s, anybody who's lived through that era of WWE most recently, you know that there was no way they were ever going to pull the trigger on a heel turn for John Cena, and it looked like they very much over the past 6 years that they've been pushing Roman Reigns, they definitely didn't want to go in that direction, but it looks like they may have gone in that direction now. Now, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen here, but I will give the WWE a lot of credit. I didn't know if in 1 week they could actually build tremendous interest or not in this pay-per-view main event, and they did, and it's honestly all thanks to Roman Reigns. Now, whether you're a fan of the Roman Reigns character or not, honestly, I think they've done all that they can right now with this Braun and Bray feud, so adding Roman to the mix here definitely added a lot of intrigue, and now that it looks like we possibly are getting Roman turning to the dark side by aligning himself with Paul Heyman, I definitely say my interest in this match has definitely gone up. Now, I would love to see the Fiend Bray Wyatt retain the championship, but most likely I won't be surprised if the WWE decides to go ahead and put the title back on Roman, but we'll see. Reports are that they plan to push Roman as the top heel on SmackDown and Bray Wyatt as the top babyface, so it should be interesting to see what they do, but they needed to do something to get things more interesting during this current pandemic era of the WWE. Also, I'm glad to see that the WWE has not abandoned Alexa Bliss in the storyline, and it shows that the Fiend has had a negative influence on her as she looks like she is once again going heel. Hopefully, though, her character gets a complete overhaul. I would love to see Alexa Bliss, who in real life is apparently a huge Disney fanatic. It would be cool to see her maybe put some of that influence into her character and take on sort of this dark princess type of character or something like that. I would really love to see just go full throttle with it. But you know what? I think tonight was a step in the right direction. I think what we got here tonight was, like I say, top to bottom, one of the best booked WWE shows. Not a lot of shenanigans, a lot of clean finishes. I thought it was going to be a lot of undecisive finishes, being that there's only so much they can build up for Payback in 1 week. But overall, yeah, I was very pleased with the WWE SummerSlam, and hopefully we get more stuff like this from WWE and more things to stay intrigued. Overall, I thought it was a great show. So as we wrap things up here, any final thoughts overall? How'd you enjoy the SummerSlam, man? 0001.
It was okay. It was pretty decent. But also, I like to give one big shout out to Renee Young for 8 great years of services. A lot of us, we need to take a moment to talk about Renee Young for sure. Because Renee Young really, she's one of those people that really helped change things in WWE. She's one of those people that really made it. Really made a connection where we never thought we needed a connection to be made. Because her presence there will be missed, and from her announcing work on NXT to her hosting gigs, because that's where she shines the best, when she's hosting and when she's when she's interviewing. And it's just like first time I saw her back in 2012, I'm just like, who is this chick? And then before you know it, she's on SmackDown, and before you know it, she's pay-per-views. And on top of that, she's doing commentary on Raw, like first female commentator to be a full-time commentator on Raw, and then on top on Raw or SmackDown, and she's out there and she's back in interviews. Definitely changed the way WWE felt 2012 all the way to now. Before then, we had stiffs like Michael Cole and Josh Matthews and stuff like that. Then we had people who we had then we had people who are paid internet smarts like Matt Stryker. I mean, not a slight at him. It's just rhetoric. It's just like, hey, I'm one of the cool kids, right? It felt like he was trying too hard. Then we have somebody like Renee Young who comes in and she feels like there's some energy
it's
there.
Natural.
It feels natural, it feels organic, but it also feels like it's a different type of energy. This little chick that was doing interviews and announcing on NXT went on to help change a lot of things. And I hope that, with her leaving the company, Renee Young era is over. It's the end of an era. It truly is. And it's, and it starts feeling like she's paving the way for a lot of other female announcers to come up through the business to show that, yes, if you're a girl, if you're a woman, you can make it in this business as an announcer. You don't have to be, you don't have to dress provocatively. You don't have to, you don't have to look like anything. You can just be you. As long as you got the talent, you can go ahead. You can make it happen. And she did a lot of great things for that company. And I believe that she needs to either go to Fox or ESPN. I mean, going to AEW, I mean, that right there, that right there would be okay. I mean, what is her name going to be? Renee Moxley or something? I mean, that's, I think she should go for I think she should strive and she should shoot for higher, for a higher goal. I think that she should to be on one of those channels because I feel like she's ready for the big time.
Yeah.
Renee Young is ready for the big time. WWE is the big time in terms of pro wrestling, but I think that she's able to transcend business. She's one of those people that definitely, because tonight, I salute Renee Young. 8 great years of, being there. I mean, real soldier, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was a decent show. I give it an 8 out of 10. It was pretty decent. A lot of solid, good matches. And again, like the man said, shout out to Renee Young. She really showed like her skills in broadcasting, and like he said, I hope like she moves up to like being a producer of her own show or whatever. So yeah, she does good. So I hope that she does good. The show is decent, and that's all I really got to say.
Yeah, I agree. Everything. Renee Young, awesome. One of the greatest all-time hosts in WWE interviews. I definitely think she deserves to be top 10 up there. And yeah, I'm glad we all enjoy SummerSlam. That being said, everybody, you can see all our social media platforms will be in the description, and you see them in the video. This has been for SMP, the Mann0001, and me, of course, SonGoshuaku. Thanks for checking out the video. Remember to share, comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that way you are notified when my content is released. And check out my upcoming short film, Battle of Deception. The trailer link is right there on the screen, in the description, and pinned comment below, along with the links to follow my social media platforms. Until next time, take care.